Welcome to one of our weirdest named episodes ever. It'll make sense soon, we promise. The touring Candytopia exhibit, a dumb business idea that somehow works, angry women yelling in public, rude nurses, and yoni eggs. This episode's got it all. A special hello to everyone who used to listen to us over on Podcoin and has now migrated to a podcast platform that hopefully won't be going away anytime soon. Oh, and we hope you all enjoyed doggy sounds, because Pitney's little Joxer was having a really good time with us the day we recorded this. Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique!
We may be awful, but we're right.
Are we recording?
It's recording.
Oh, okay.
It's on. Hi.
Oh, so anyway, so it was this thing called Candytopia, and it's like a traveling. It was in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's in Houston, I think they said, for like 3 months.
Oh, God.
But it's weird because it's like they actually install, like in a building, they put down floors
Oh, like
that
the
are like
whole
all
thing.
colored to match what they're doing. They paint
Right.
the walls, and so they basically remodel a building.
I guess that's why it stays for so
this
long.
thing that's only for 3 months, but they have to make a shit ton of money, I'm sure. Or it wouldn't be worth doing that.
Oh, yeah.
But,
well, how much did it cost to get in?
$20.
$20 a person?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
yeah, I guess that, I'm imagining if they got, say, 10,000 people a day or whatever.
Yeah, because they get a lot. But it was, I thought it was going to be, like, different candy...
Like a history of candy.
Like history, or I thought it was going to be, like, they were going to demonstrate the way that they make different kinds of candy or something.
Right.
But what it basically was, there was a lot of kids' areas.
Oh, sure.
You know, that they were fun and interesting.
Yeah.
But there was also, like, a lot of art that was completely made out of candy.
Oh, my God.
Like, they had Prince's guitar, totally made out of candy.
Oh, God.
And they had a Starry Night, totally made out of candy.
Was it, like, made out of Skittles? I mean, what is it?
All different sorts of things, like Skittles, jelly beans,
like
gummy worms,
like Twizzlers,
like different strips of stuff.
Oh my God!
They had a whole Sphinx that was made out of candy.
Oh my Lord!
They had a Marilyn Monroe portrait made out of. I mean, it was really, really cool, actually.
Wow!
And then, of course, for the kids, they had this room where it was like, you know, people would throw confetti on you, and there was confetti all over, and the kids would throw the confetti and everything.
Oh my God.
But they were like unicorn butts on the wall, and every so often, the unicorns would fart confetti all over the room.
What? Oh, God.
And it was kind of cool.
That's kind of amazing. Oh my God.
So that was fun, but my favorite thing was the swimming in the marshmallows.
So it was like a ball pit or something?
Yeah, it was like a... Yeah.
Were they spongy?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like a pool. And I want to say it was like waist deep.
Okay.
And it was pretty
Well, yeah,
big.
because it's for kids, so you don't want them to disappear.
And it was like all these... It was like the size of, you know, large marshmallows that you would roast, but it was like these foam things.
Oh my God.
And it was actually really cool. It was really weird, like, going in that, but it was really kind of fun.
Have you ever been in a ball pit? See, I only did once, because ball pits didn't exist when we were little.
Yeah.
And there was like... I guess it was a Chuck E. Cheese. I guess it could have been a Showbiz, but I think it was a Chuck E. Cheese. When my nephews were little, up in Arlington. My goodness, Joxer, you're so excited. But there was, it was like, they let the adults go into that crap. Mm-hmm. What was really weird, and I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but like this particular Chuck E. Cheese, not just was there like, a ball pit. But there was like things you could crawl in and crawl up and crawl around. And it was like a human habit trail.
Oh, see, that sounds fun to me.
And it was up on the ceiling.
Uh-huh.
So you're climbing through a tube up above where people are eating their pizza or whatever. And the thing is, once you're in there, you gotta go the whole way.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't long that I was in there that I realized my knees are too old to be doing this.
Oh, no.
Because it was hard. It was hard plastic.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, how do I know this thing's going to support me?
Right.
I was amazed that I could even fit in it. But these things, like I said, they were made for not just for kids, but they wanted the adults to go in there too, bless you. So then at the very end, you get to the end and you... What a puppy. You're silly. But you get down to the end and then there's like a slide and you land in the ball pit. And I have to say, there is something really gross to land in a ball pit and realize that it's slightly moist.
Oh, yes.
Because of course it is. It's all like mucus and
oh,
God knows what, because it's children. It's children and all their excretions.
You have to bathe in Lysol afterwards.
Oh, it was so bad. But, I was playing with my nephew, so it was fun.
But yeah, this was fun,
excuse
though.
me,
It was super...
You're getting tangled in the wires.
It was super...
Why don't you rest?
Yeah, it was super cool, though.
That's fabulous.
And it was fun,
And how long were you guys there? Like an hour? I mean...
Maybe 2 hours.
And the girls must have just been, like, losing their
minds.
minds.
Yeah, they were really excited. They were really, really good, though. And when we were ready to go to the next room, they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, so they were really good. And they had stuff, like funhouse mirrors with lights, with weird lights. And
right.
They had this thing that you went through. It was like big tubes of nylon that were, like, being blown, with fans.
Okay.
And so it was like this long hall that you had to go through these tubes of nylon and sort of kind of swim your way through.
Oh, that's kind of fabulous.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. And I was like, ooh, I wish we could do this at a party sometime.
I know. That's exactly. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was neat.
And it was called what?
Candytopia. Yeah.
Hey horror fans, we are Mike, and Oscar, and yes, we make award season year-round. That's actually one of our taglines, but something we also live for is getting horror films the respect they damn well deserve.
We want great horror movies at the Oscars, and to prove it, we cover the horror genre year-round as well. Jordan Peele's Us, Midsommar, and the Halloween franchise rewatch we did, those are just a few of the recent highlights.
Now, as for this year's fall programming, we're all about evil clowns and zombies, and the people that most resemble one of your favorite aunts. So, of course, we're covering It Chapter 2, all 2 hours and 49 minutes of its glory.
But even more than that, we're also in the midst of the Joker character study, building towards the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie from DC.
And this October is special for another reason, because for the third time, Mike, and Oscar here, MMO, will be contributing to All the Horror, an event series featuring 31 days of podcasts and horror-themed content.
And here's where the zombie part comes in. For this year's event, we're paying homage to Zombieland Double Tap by asking all of our friends at All the Horror how they would spend their zombie apocalypse. It'll be a clip show featuring a bunch of our favorite podcasters, like our fearless leaders here in ATH, Invasion of the Remake.
Yes, you can join us to get ready for the Oscars, to get ready for Zombieland Double Tap, and get ready for the apocalypse. We're Mike, and Oscar, and we'll be joining All the Horror on Thursday, October 17th. Get ready.
As soon as you said the name of it, what the hell was that thing called? Do you remember I think it was called The Art of Ice Cream. That stupid fucking thing that has already gone out of business, that moved into the dance studio where I used to take my NEA classes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that they had to move out because the rent was too damn high, and then a stupid used car lot moved in, and then they moved out, and then this thing called Art of Ice Cream, and I was like, oh, so it's like an ice cream shop? No, of course not. Why would it be an ice cream shop? That would be silly. So what it was, because I Googled it, and the thing that was upsetting was that this was a franchise. This is something that started, I think, in Arizona, and there's a bunch of them all over the country. So apparently it is a successful business model, but apparently only stupid people in Austin would go to it because it did not last.
Yeah.
But the concept of this business, and imagine having the fucking nerve to create this as a business. I'm going to create an environment with backdrops and ice cream themed props in ice creamy sherbety colors. And people can come in and with their own fucking phone take pictures of themselves and their children and, like, I don't know, put them on Instagram.
And that's all it was.
And they charge you to go in there and take a picture of yourself in front of their shit.
Oh my god. Wow.
And it was so dumb.
I mean, I can imagine it being like a booth inside a Six Flags.
Right, like a pop-up thing for an event.
Yeah.
Like something like that. But no, this is like, it was like a store. Except they don't sell anything.
In a really high-rent area of South Austin.
Yeah, like an area where this really fabulous couple that owned this dance studio could not afford to keep their business
and
because
I
the rent was too high.
There.
Oh my god, it's like, it's so, when I think about like all the parties I went to there, all the seeing Bill Johnson do a little one-man show there. So many amazing events, just, you know, so much dancing and so much just laying on the floor and just loving the floor and just, you know, it was the best place. And you know, apparently before the dance studio moved in, it used to be a church.
Oh, really?
And that area in the back, like, because there's like the front lobby and then there's the bathroom and the changing room. And then if you go through the studio, there's another door on the other end. It has like a sort of kitchen-y area and it has like another changing room and another bathroom. That area back there, it was also a soup kitchen in addition to being a church.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's why they have the kitchen back there.
Okay.
And it's like, well, that's, you know, that's some good juju in that place. And then just to have a monstrosity like Art of Ice Cream.
Oh my god, it sounds stupid.
It sounds stupid. And I'll just say, okay, I don't really know this person, but I know who this person is. The only photographs that I've ever actually seen, like for real, of someone actually going there and doing this, is this dumb cunt. I won't say who she is. I'll just say that she posted a lot of pictures on her Facebook page that's public. So of herself posing
with ice cream.
Well, cream
themed motif.
Yes, like in like sitting on a throne in like a very pastel princess gown, even though she's a fucking adult. You know, it's like this very high-end, fancy tutu dress thing she was wearing. And I assume she brought her children.
I know.
But all the pictures are of her.
Oh my god.
And then there was one picture that was her standing in front of this wall that had, like, you know, ice creamy things on it.
Yeah.
And written on the wall was, "My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard." And I'm like, bitch, you don't got no milkshake.
Oh, God.
Bitch, your milkshake is store-bought, first of all. And no. It doesn't... It brings stupid boys to the yard. Boys with no value. Anyway.
Oh, my. Well, anyways, that's such a not an Austin business either.
It's so gross.
Like, maybe North Austin? Maybe.
And it's the kind of thing...
South Austin. Absolutely not.
No. I mean, it's like, it makes me mad. It's like, it's a business for people who ain't from here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, have it be a pop-up thing during... I don't know, South by Southwest. Even those people wouldn't go.
Oh God, no.
Like, I don't know. You know, one of those things that makes people come from out of town. I don't know. I don't go to things like that anymore. Because gross.
Like, that place may be popular, like, in Frisco, Texas.
Or in one of those shopping centers?
Yeah.
Oh my
in one
God,
of those
yes.
shopping centers, like in one of those suburban cities of Dallas.
It's not Dallas and it's not Fort Worth, so it's like a suburb.
Yeah.
It's a city you've never heard of in Dallas.
A place like that doing good.
Oh, it's very Dallas. It's a very Dallas kind of thing. Oh my Lord.
Because, you know, all the conservative evangelicals that live up there with their billion kids that would think it was just so precious. I could see that. You know what I mean?
All the trophy wives with their trophy children.
Yes.
Oh, yes. All the
But
dumb
not
bitches.
South Austin, no.
No. I mean, God. I mean, it's literally on a street that used to be filled with prostitutes.
I know.
I miss the days. I miss the lady who walked up and down South Congress with her knee pads on all the time.
God damn it.
I wonder where she is. I wonder if she's even alive.
God. I remember that time when Verity Noslin was visiting. And we were taking the bus from Celebration Station. Which was a hard place to get to on the bus.
Oh, yeah.
And it was at night. And I
met you guys at Celebration Station, yeah.
And I was fine. But she was freaking out because it was dark and we were on South Congress and there were hookers around.
Well, of course.
And I remember...
And probably a lot of people who were not white.
Yes, and I remember being solicited by one of the hookers. And I'm like, oh, honey, no, I'm sorry.
Bitch, please.
Verity Noslin was coming out of her fucking skin.
Oh, my
because
God.
we had to wait in the dark for the bus and it was... near where there were hookers.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Oh, God.
Just cutting in here to let you know about some fabulous stuff coming up.
Get yourselves ready for All the Horror 2019.
Y'all know we go all out in October.
And we love horror like a lot.
So this year, we're joining a bunch of podcasters, authors, and fancy entertainment personalities discussing all things horror.
It's the whole month of October with new content every single day, and you can follow it all on Twitter using hashtag #AllTheHorror.
Our All the Horror episode will air on Thursday, October 10th.
Mark those calendars.
And it's going to be about how awesome those made-for-TV horror movies used to be.
Including a look at a few films of Lucio Fulci, the master of Giallo horror.
There's always room for Giallo. What?
Join us and our fabulous friends this October for All the Horror 2019! Speaking of hookers, like, apparently, you know, remember where the LeBaron Hotel was right by Mom's house?
Yeah.
Which is not the LeBaron anymore. It looks exactly like the LeBaron, but it's like...
Some chain bought it or something?
It's some chain, some mid-range quality chain. I can't remember which one it was, but it doesn't even matter. But anyway, next to that is a 7-Eleven now on the other corner.
Okay.
And apparently, at night, all the prostitutes hang out in front of that 7-Eleven.
Classy.
Which I guess makes sense because they can't do, like, First Street downtown anymore.
Right, because they fixed it up.
Because it's like a bustling...
shopping area
nightclub
and shit.
shopping area, so it'd be, you know what I mean? They can't.
Right.
Because it's all, you know, high-end, expensive bars.
And there were a lot of hookers on that 7-Eleven on South Congress, too. That was a big
So
spot.
apparently the hookers hang out near that 7-Eleven at night, which I guess makes sense because there's a bunch of hotels and motels all up and down that street because it's less than a mile from the airport.
And people are getting in and out of their cars.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, I thought it was really... I thought
so
that
glamorous.
Was terribly fun, and you know, Corrine told me, she's like, I know you walk up there and buy cigarettes, but don't walk up there at night because of all the prostitutes.
It's like, but I love
And
prostitutes.
I was like, it's not like they're gonna hurt me, you know?
Exactly. I mean, what would they do? At most, they would be like, hey, honey, you want a good time? You'd say, no, thanks.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of transaction.
But there was one so I went there, and there was this, like, just screaming, like, storming out of the 7-Eleven, just screaming, being all ghetto in her hooker clothes. Don't you call me a freak. Nobody calls me a freak. He called me a freak. Nobody's gonna call me a freak.
The Egyptian lover would call her a freak.
Right. And so I was like, I don't know what is going on. But so I walked in.
Apparently someone called her a freak.
I walked into the 7-Eleven to, buy a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
And she came back in.
Oh my God.
I can't believe you called me a freak. I was trying to spend money here and you called me a freak. And this poor guy with a really heavy Indian accent
Aww.
was like, I did not call you a freak. So God only knows what he said.
He probably wasn't even talking to her.
In her, probably methed out mind.
Oh, God.
Anyway, it was kind of amusing.
Oh, my God.
And then at the gas station by Alan's house,
Mm-hmm.
there was this woman just walking out of this apartment complex across the street from the gas station, just yelling up, I'm never babysitting for you again, bitch! You ain't doing me like that again! I am not babysitting for your ass ever again! And I was like, oh my God, what happened? I want to know everything.
Totally. Oh my God.
And of course, she came in.
I want nanny cam footage.
I know.
I want
was
everything.
Like buying, like a big soda right next to where I was buying coffee.
Right.
But she was kind of ghetto.
Well, there's a surprise.
And I was afraid I didn't want to be seen looking at her because I knew that she
might go. Well, she was already a little tense.
She was all worked up, so I was like, "Oh my God!
Oh my God!"
But that was kind of glorious.
The year of the vagina.
Kegel exercises. You've heard of them. You might even do them. If you don't, listen up. It's hard to explain how to exercise your pelvic floor muscles without a lot of detail and a diagram, so I'll link you to a nice site in the show notes. For now, I'll just emphasize that we should definitely be concerned about the tone in our pelvic floor muscles, but not so much that we fall for bullshit like yoni eggs and swinging weights. Because, as has been a common theme throughout this Year of the Vagina series, women are always being encouraged to shove stupid shit into our holes. So, idiots like Gwyneth Paltrow say we should pay, oh, sweet Jesus, $66 for an egg made out of jade, so sanitary, to stick up our cooches for the purpose of exercising them. Never mind that Goop was fined $145,000 last year for the bullshit medical claims they made about the benefit of these dumb things. They're still selling them! Look it up! I'm serious! The way they supposedly work is you stick it up in there and hold on tight. And it's a little heavy, so you really need to clamp down to keep it up in there. And then I guess you go about your day or something. Let's pretend I handed you a 5-pound weight and instructed you to pick it up and bend your elbow, and then just keep it bent like that for like an hour. You'd be like, isn't the point of lifting weights that you lift and release and lift and release? And yes, you're absolutely right. So imagine shoving a weight up in your cha-cha and just holding it there. Real Kegel exercises are a squeeze and release deal, not a squeeze till you pass out deal. And they don't cost a damn thing either. Hey Amelia, what was that you said about swinging weights before? Oh yeah. So now imagine you shove an egg up in there, and you've attached a weight to it, using unwaxed dental floss, as old Gwynny suggests. This weight is dangling from your bits. And you're meant to, swing it front and back because, I guess, skill level? Either way, you look like an idiot. And you're not actually doing anything beneficial that plain old Kegels won't do for you. In fact, you could be doing some damage. God, can you imagine getting a Charlie horse up in there? I mean, one time mine clamped down real hard and he couldn't get his finger out for a minute or so and... Oh, sorry. Anyway. There are a lot of Kegel exercise doodads on the market. Things that give you something to squeeze on. Lots of shapes and sizes and colors to get your attention. Now, some people feel like they need a gym membership or they'll never exercise. Some will only run on a treadmill because running outside seems stupid. Some people need things, I guess. And if it means you'll do it, great. But let me float this idea by you. I'm doing Kegels right now, sitting at my desk. Someone is listening to this in her car, and she's giving hers a squeeze as she drives to work. No equipment or planning or privacy necessary. Do it waiting in the checkout line. Do it while that guy at work drones on and on about his fantasy football picks. Do it while your kid is explaining how they forgot to tell you they need a ladybug costume by tomorrow morning. Anywhere, anytime. Just do it. And 19 and 20. Weirdly, my foot is not bothering me at all today.
Oh, good.
The reason why that's weird is that it's hurt for weeks. And, when it's like your feet kind of ache a little bit and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And then you realize 2 weeks later, my feet are still hurting? That's weird. So I know they were hurting before my husband and I went on the trip, right after my birthday.
Yeah.
So, because I remember when I was there, I brought my, I have these little socks that are kind of open-toed socks, and they have these little terry cloth strips that you put between your toes to kind of gently separate your toes, to kind of, relax your feet. And I had brought those with me on the trip, and I used them a lot when I was sitting out on the fabulous deck, reading my fabulous book and drinking my ice water and having my toes separated. But because I was barefoot basically that whole trip, even when I was out walking on the beach, I was still wearing aqua socks, which are basically being barefoot. So I was very aware that my feet were not feeling great, but I wasn't going to wear, I don't even think I brought shoes, honestly. Yeah. We were at a beach, at a beach house. It's but so I know that it had been going on at least that long. So my right foot in particular, in the arch, not so much the arch itself, but that middle part of the foot, just sort of a general ache, which gradually became a little more localized, and kind of if you envision your foot as layers, there's the sole of your foot, and then there's a middle section that's in the middle of your foot, and then there's the top of your foot. So somewhere in the middle of my foot was where the ache was. Mm-hmm. And then last Friday, I noticed things were kind of gradually getting down more to a single point. Uh-huh. On Friday morning, I realized that it had gotten to a very specific point. Mm-hmm. And that all the pain in my foot was in this one spot. And it had just seemed like a general muscle kind of pain anyway. But the thing is, I'm really, I spent all those years doing the barefoot dancing stuff, doing the Nia thing. I'm very aware of my feet. Yeah, I'm very good at stretching my feet, popping, all the bones in my feet, and like the way you could do your hands, if your hands feel stiff and you could pop them, I can do that with my feet. So I'm good at figuring out what's wrong with my foot and fixing it. Yeah. But I couldn't, that wasn't working. That hadn't been working in weeks. So that day, I realized that even when I was just sitting and not putting any weight at all on my foot, that it was still hurting in that spot. Like something was really wrong. So I texted my sister, my older sister who used to be in the Army. When she was doing a training thing, she at one point ended up with a stress fracture in her foot that because her feet kind of generally hurt anyway because she was marching in fucking Army boots. She basically had a stress fracture for, I think, like almost a month before she had anyone look at it because she didn't know that that's what it was. And so I texted her and asked her, I mean, granted, her in college was a long, long time ago. Yeah. But she remembered exactly which bone it was. It was the third metatarsal and blah, 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 And I was asking her, like, how it, like the quality of the pain. Like, did she remember how it happened? And what she was describing was just totally what mine felt like. And I said, well, I just have this weird feeling that I said, I can't imagine why I would have a stress fracture. And I started Googling, and I was, of course, it's always runners or people, crazy people like that. And everything I'm reading is like, oh no, you'll have it for a while because it's so gradual, because the injury is so gradual. It's like there's just like a weak spot in a bone somewhere, and it just gradually gets like this little hairline crack, and by the time it hurts bad enough for you to realize it's broken, you've done the damage. Like if it doesn't occur to anyone. In fact, runners, because they're usually so obsessive about running all the time, they'll just tape up their foot and keep running and totally fuck up their feet. So I'm sitting there at work thinking, and of course I'm immediately going like, well, when am I going to go to a doctor? Right. How am I going to get an x-ray? I'm at work. I have to go to the grocery store tonight because I have to cook stuff for my dad because my dad can't wear his teeth right now, so he has to eat things he can't chew. So I have to make him all this special. Oh, by the way, my chicken tortilla soup with the completely pulverized chicken. I asked him today. He said it was amazing.
Oh, good.
It's like, apparently I make really good chicken tortilla soup. Good. I had never even made it before. I'm so proud of myself. But he was so excited because he's basically been living on like broth and applesauce and he's been
old man food.
Totally old man food. But like, I mean, he can't even like, have a cheese sandwich. He can't have peanut butter.
For how long?
Because he had to have this tooth extracted and he has to wait. He can't wear his partial until everything's healed.
Oh, yeah. So
it was a mess.
So the bone graft has to heal and all of that.
Yeah, like he's never had that many teeth. But this was one of the only ones he had left, and it had to be. It was terrible. Anyway, so I'm like, I can't go to the doctor. I have to be on my feet cooking all day tomorrow, and I have to do, And my husband is like, when did you become this crazy person who can't like sit down and put her foot up? Like when did you become this person? Because that doesn't seem like you. And I'm like, yeah, when the fuck did that happen? Because I am the picture of sedentary lifestyle, but I am kind of obsessively always doing something, and I'm very fidgety. But anyway, I'm sitting there at work, and I'm having a conference call with my manager, and while I'm talking to her, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put in for like the afternoon off. Yeah. And when I'm done with this call, I'm just gonna leave work, and I'm gonna go. And I'm like Googling, like, where's the nearest urgent care kind of place. Just like whatever's closest. My husband was working at home, and because we only have the one car and I had it, he took a cab. I told him where I was going to go, so he took a cab there.
Oh, that's good.
And the place that I went to, it used to be the old VA hospital off of, what the hell is that street? Montopolis.
Oh, okay.
Over there, like Old Tour from Montopolis, over there. But it had become like this community health center thing that had an urgent care walk-in kind of place, and then there was also all kinds of different... But I was especially looking for places that did x-rays because most places don't. So I get there find out that you have to go all the way to the back. I had to walk through the whole place. I'm like asking the lady in the front, and I'm like, well, I think I have a stress fracture in my foot, so I need like I need an x-ray. And they were like, do you need a wheelchair? We can roll you back there. I'm like, no, I can walk. I just, how big is this place? Because I've only seen it from the street. I have no sense. So I walk all the way to the back, and I talk to this woman at this little counter, and she's just like, well, we're not registering people right now, so if you could, like, go and come back at, like, 1:40, this is, like, noon. Uh-huh. And I'm thinking, what the fuck does urgent mean to you people? And I'm like, what do you mean you're not registering people? They're like, well, we're full up for the morning. And I'm just like, but that's, like,
a long ways away.
More than an hour and a half away. And I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. I just got here. I said, I'm going to go sit down, I guess, and I'll wait. And while I'm sitting there, I observe that the reason why, well, we can't register. I don't know why I can't get on a list.
Yeah,
like, I'll put my name on the list. Yeah. That's all I need. I want to be first when you guys come back. What was happening was they were all going to leave for lunch. It's like, oh, bitch, I don't think so. She wouldn't have dared said that to my face.
Okay.
So my husband gets there just in time for me to realize that lunch is happening. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, they get lunch. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't get fucking lunch today. You know. And I was just like, well, I can sit here for another, hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Or I can go to the next closest place, which also has an x-ray. So we just go and we walk out to the front. He goes and gets the car and picks me up at the door. And we drive to the next place. Well, we walk in there. And, of course, their website will even tell you how many people are waiting.
Oh, see, that's good.
It's really cool.
That's cool.
So I'm like, oh, my God, there's only 2 people waiting. So we'll get in really fast. So I walk in there and there's literally no one because whoever was waiting is now back in there.
Yeah.
And there's a guy behind the desk and he's talking to someone on the phone. He's like, oh, I'll be with you in just a second. And I'm hearing him explaining to someone on the phone, well, I just sent her down there because our x-ray machine is broken.
Oh, no.
And he goes, oh, no, that's terrible. Oh, but she's already gone. Well, okay. And he's like, okay, well, have a good day. I just want to let you know she was coming. Okay, thank you. And I'm like, what's this about your x-ray machine?
Oh, no.
And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, where did you send this other person who needed the x-ray machine? He goes, well, I sent her down to the hospital down the street.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is that their internet just went down, so they're doing everything very slowly because they have to do everything on paper right now.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going there.
Right. Oh, my God.
And then he said, well, do you live south? Do you mind going to Buda? Because we just opened a place down in Buda and no one's ever there.
Oh.
And I'm like, I have no problem going to Buda. I drive to Buda every day.
Yeah,
you know? And I was going to go there after work anyway because I had to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So Buda is this little town south of Boston where my dad lives. So we're like, sure, we'll go to Buda. And I pull up their website. There's no one waiting in Buda. That's great.
That's awesome.
So I'm thinking, okay, good. This is perfect. We go into this little place, brand new, really like the cutest clinic I've ever seen. It's just so fabulous. And I get into this room with like the little receptionist / nurse chick. Mm-hmm. And she's, of course, what is it about my foot hurts, so you need to know when my last period is? I mean, they don't ask guys anything like that, do they?
Really.
Do they say when was your last bowel movement?
No,
do they ask you anything like that?
Fill out all this form of like, have you ever had this?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But women are always asked, is there any chance of you being pregnant right now? And when was your last? When was your last menstrual period? It's like, I don't fucking know. I was like, I think it was my birthday,
right?
Because that's the kind of luck that I have. But anyway, so after all of this, just sitting, then the little receptionist chickie is like, okay, go ahead and come with me in this other room. We're gonna do the X-rays. And I've never, apart from dental, I've never had an x-ray.
Oh, really?
I've never broken,
Oh,
I've never,
yeah.
it's like, my husband is just covered in scars because, he was a boy who grew up with brothers. I mean, he had compound fractures. He's had all kinds of shit. And he's just like, I don't know, how have you never been in an emergency room before?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, because I'm a girl and I'm a scaredy cat and I don't do anything and I barely go outside. So anyway, so she takes me in there and I don't know why there's chairs in there. I'm not allowed to sit. This x-ray machine is like a plate that's like a foot and a half off the ground, and there's this big x-ray thing and handles to hold on to so I don't fall. Yeah. And there's like a square in the middle of this plate, and I have to put my foot flat down, and she's like adjusting my foot, and then she has to, I have to wear the heaviest lead-lined apron in the world.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's like, I really don't... I'm like, do I really have to wear this? Because seriously, I'm putting one leg up there. My junk is now pointing this way. I don't see... The x-ray is here. Yeah. It's like, it's going to go straight through my leg, right to my vagina. I don't think this is going to... I don't care if I'm sterilized. I really don't care. I'm 50. So she runs around behind the little wall and takes a little picture. And then she makes me... Oh, God, which direction did I have to tip my foot this time? Okay, so now I have to bend my knee outwards and roll my foot on its side. Keep in mind, I think I have a broken foot. Yeah. I'm having to contort my ankle, and I'm like, is there any way I could, sit and just have my leg on here? Because I'd happily... do whatever, I could move my whole body this way and just do my foot flat. No, you have to do it this way. Meanwhile, all my weight is on my other foot. My other leg is dying. I'm an old person with hips that get tired. It's like, oh, God. And then I have to tip my foot this way with my knee in and showing the outside of my foot. It was so hard, and it took forever. And I'm in so much pain. Now, my whole body hurts now. So I gimp back into this other room where I wait. I've now been in 3 different rooms. And now I'm waiting for, the nurse practitioner to come in. Well, I didn't realize that I was waiting for someone who apparently has no bedside manner. And, I mean, I get that they have no patience. They have nothing to do. Someone finally comes in, thinks they have a broken bone. They might get a little excited that they might actually have something to do. And if they look at the x-rays and determine that the patient does not have a broken bone, that might be a little disappointing. But really, you're a nurse. Yeah. You should be a little more pleasant. So she comes in, and she's like, so why, so what are you here for? I'm thinking, no, you know why I'm here. You're literally carrying my chart. And I'm explaining to her all the things that have been going on with my foot. And she's asking me all these weird questions like, well, did you injure it? And I said, well, stress fractures, my understanding is they're just from general repetitive motion activity. Yeah. I said, I did recently take a trip where I did a lot more walking, and it was on sand. I said, I don't know. I don't know. That's not something I normally do. Yeah. If something was already potentially a problem, that could have... And she's just like... And then she's asking me all these dumb questions. And she's like, well, how bad is the pain? 1 to 10? And I'm like, well, God, I said, you mean right now? And I said, well, right now, I've been sitting here for a long time, and it's been resting. So, right now, it's not that terrible. And she's like, just give me a number. It's like, I was like, 6? 5, 6, maybe? I said the worst it's been, I would say, is probably a 7, but I wasn't going to wait around till it was a 9 before I had someone look at it. And she was just like, well, I looked at your x-ray and I don't see anything on there. She goes, but we're going to send it to a radiologist so they can look closer. And she goes, But I did notice that you have a heel spur. And I'm thinking, God, that's weird because those things usually hurt. Like, those things are usually a problem. So I'm like feeling around on my heel. And I go, I don't really know much about those. I said, well, where exactly is it? And I swear to God, she looks me right in the eye and goes, on your heel.
Oh my God, what a bitch.
And I'm like, cunt. Nurse cunt.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
I already had a really annoying, shitty day.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have to hold it together. Because this is so...
Oh my God.
It's like, and I'm thinking, oh, gee, I'm so sorry that I'm not a more interesting patient. Right. I'm so sorry that I'm a disappointment to you. And she should have
explained to you exactly where it was and...
Why bother telling me?
Why it could cause pain or cause a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because she was like, well, since you're not complaining of it and you're not saying that you're having a problem, I guess it's not anything for you to worry about. And I'm thinking, but I'm not the one who knows things about heel spurs. Why don't you tell me what it is and what could potentially be the problem? Because, of course, I talked to my other sister who, the bitch starts talking about, recommending a podiatrist. And the first name she mentions, I'm like, I already have his number in my phone because I used to take my mother to him. Because it's my sister's podiatrist who my mother used to also see. Because remember, my mother had that weird bed sore on the bottom of her foot, even though she wasn't bedridden. But it was the weirdest thing. But anyway, so I talked to that sister later, and I was telling her about how obnoxious this woman was and how, she wants me to see Hanky, but I told her I already had his phone number. But
so did she not give you any sort of explanation of what could have been causing all this pain?
Nope. She said I should just take Advil and try, stretching. And I'm like, I've been doing that for a month.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better. And she's like, well, keep doing it.
Did you write a letter of complaint?
No, but I really probably should.
You totally should.
Because she's a cunt.
You totally should.
The Bitchin' Boutique.
Yes.
I think we need to give them a thing, Spike. We can give them a drop that they could play on their
yes,
show.
I think we've got to find some time and get time to do that.
Right now. I think we should do it right now. Look, I'll show you how easy it is, Spike. Watch this. I'm just going to do it live.
Okay, do it live.
Like that bloke screams. I'm just going to do it live. Watch this. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical... I can't do it now. Look, I can't speak. Too much pressure. I'll try again. Take 52. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, and you are listening to the most bitchin' boutique. See? That was easy, wasn't it?
Okay.
They could send us one, we could play it in ours.
Yeah.
Right, you do it.
Yeah.
Right,
what do you want me to say?
Whatever comes to mind.
Hi, this is Spike from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, who ain't no bitch, but you're listening to the Bitchin' Boutique.
Oh, that was good. I hope they use that. Let's see if they cut it and put it in their next show.
Diplomatic community.
When I had to go to the emergency room when I had my pleurisy.
Oh, God.
Which is really, really bad pain.
Oh, my God.
And I understand
you should all Google pleurisy, because I know none of you know what it is, and you will freak out.
It hurts.
It's so gross.
The pain was so bad, I couldn't even, sit up from bed.
Right.
I had to call my landlord, and he had to come over and help me sit up in bed. I could not even move. It hurt so bad.
And I remember the last time you had it, because you've had it, twice? 3 times?
Twice.
But the last time you had it, when you were well enough to have a brief phone call, you said that you were never going to smoke again. And I was like, God, it must really hurt.
Oh, my God, it was horrible.
That didn't last.
But, God, I remember the x-ray technician, it was real nice.
Yeah.
But, the little, orderlies or interns or whatever you call the students that are doing at the hospital, because it's the UT Health.
Right.
It's like the hospital you go to when you're poor.
Right, of course. I have no insurance.
Texas,
That's my hospital.
But anyway, this one girl came in, not a word to me, just rolled up my shirt and pulled out this needle and started giving me a shot without saying a word.
Like not saying, okay, this is
And
an
I'm
antibiotic
like,
or
what
anything.
is that? And rather than say what it was, she said, well, you can refuse it if you don't want it.
Oh my God!
I'm like, I'm not going to refuse it. I just want to know what it is.
I'm sure it's something I need. I just would like to know what
And
you're
she
doing.
was like, it's an anti-inflammatory. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
And then they send another guy in who has to do a blood draw.
Mm-hmm.
And so he puts, the rubber thing and and he starts. And I'm not even aware that I moved because having blood drawn does not bother me in the slightest.
Oh,
and
me
it
either.
never has.
Mm-mm. And you and I are both very veiny people. Like, phlebotomists love us because we're so veiny. Yeah.
And this Asian little queen with his fat face, as he's sticking the needle in, he goes, don't move!
Oh my God. Oh my
And
God.
I was like, gee, bad day around here? Or I'm sure they must run them ragged or something.
Oh, I'm sure, but still.
It's like, God, these people are fucking rude.
Oh
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Oh. See, getting the shot or almost getting the shot without knowing what it is. That one time where, well, the only thing that ever came of it was that I found out I was allergic to sulfa drugs. But the time that I had 3 separate illnesses in a 2-week period where I started off with a really bad infection. I'll just say it was in the cooch area. I still, to this day, do not know what all was happening there. But it was horrible, and of course I looked online and it said, well, you're definitely going to die. It's like, well, it's either cancer or it's nothing, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I go to the clinic that, like, if I'm too sick or don't have time to drive all the way across town to my real doctor, there's a place down at this end of town that I can go to if I'm so sick that I need to get there immediately, I can go there. So they were just like, oh, well, it's an infection. We're going to give you a prescription for an antibiotic. It's like, okay. So I took that antibiotic. And it was one of those ones where you take it for like 4 days or whatever, but you take huge,
Yeah.
On the last day, like the morning, because of when I started, like the last pill was like on the morning of like a Saturday. And by that night, because I was better, and it was only an infection anyway, it's like I could still go to work and do things. My husband and I had gone over to my parents. And that night, as we were leaving there, as we got into the car, I was like, I feel warm. Do I feel warm? By the time we got home, I could barely move. I was so sick. I had a fever of 104.
See, that's really scary.
And we loaded me with medicine. I went to bed. I mean, I literally just stopped a course of antibiotics.
Yeah.
So the next morning, my husband takes me back to the clinic. He practically has to carry me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can kind of walk, but he has to hold me up. I go back in there. I was literally just in that exact same exam room, like 4 days earlier. And she's, so what's the problem? And I'm like, well, I was just here, and I think it was probably you.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you got any test results back from whatever my infection was.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm sick again, and now I have a fever. And I was weak, and I was like, and I was so out of it. And she's looking in the chart, and she goes, well, we don't have anything in here about testing anything for an infection.
Oh.
And I'm like, you didn't even test anything? You just gave me pills and made me go away? What kind of a weird operation is this? But while I'm there, I'm so out of it, someone gives me a shot. They're like, well, here. Shot. To this day, I have no idea what that was.
Oh, it had been some kind of antibiotic, I would think, but...
Well, I don't know.
Or a fever reducer.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, I instantly got really nauseated. Oh. So they gave me another shot, but that time they said it was, what's that stuff, Phenergan?
Yeah.
They gave me a shot of Phenergan, which I'd never had in a shot form before. Work? Yeah, but I swear to God, I thought I was going to die. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to need a note for work because there's no way I'm going to be going to work anytime soon.
Yeah.
So they gave me, and this was like, I guess, a Sunday. They gave me a note that said I could go back to work on Wednesday. They were like, if for some reason, if you can't make it Wednesday, just call us and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So the reason why I remember it was Wednesday. So I basically didn't get out of bed for several days. I get up Wednesday morning thinking, oh God, I'm feeling so much better. This is good. Mm-hmm. I walk into the bathroom and turn on the light, and when I look in the mirror, I am fucking covered in hives.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean,
Did you have to go back? Or did you just take a lot of Benadryl?
At that point, I refused to go back there.
Yeah.
But luckily, I still had... Because it hadn't been a whole week, I still had all the pill bottles and everything and all the little stuff that they had. And I went to my real doctor. Uh-huh. My husband drove me up there. I walked up there with a handful of things. And I was like, okay, here's everything I've taken in the last week.
Yeah.
He's looking at me and he's looking at the pill bottles and he goes, oh, you're allergic to sulfa drugs. I'm like, I don't even know what a sulfa drug is. And he goes, why did they give you Bactrim?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. He goes, that's like one of those really, really powerful antibiotics. Yeah. Like if you had a staph infection, kind of powerful. And I'm like, they didn't know what my infection was. That's what they gave me. And he's like, wow, I would not have done that.
Uh-huh.
So the general consensus was... You know, like the way antibiotics can totally knock out your own immune system. Yeah. Because, especially the really powerful ones, because your entire gut flora goes away. And it's like, it basically opened the door for a virus to get in.
Oh, God.
And that's when it was basically like a really bad flu for several days. And then the hives came.
Oh, my God.
But the whole point of that story was... I still, to this day, don't know what the fuck was in that shot. It clearly didn't help, and who knows, for all I know, it might have given me the fucking hives. I don't know.
So fucking rude. And then when I was in the hospital the other time...
Yeah.
They were just hooking up IVs to me and weren't telling me. And I was like, what is that?
It's like, is it saline? What are you giving me?
And they were like, it's saline. I mean, like, with attitude.
It's like, why do I need saline?
It's like, why don't you think they should tell you?
I mean, it's not like you're unconscious. It's like, if I'm awake, you need to be telling me what you're doing. Yeah.
And then they had this blood pressure cuff.
Yeah.
That was set to go off, like, every minute.
So you could never sleep and you could
And I'm like, why are you doing this?
Right.
Oh, well, the doctor was very concerned about, your heart rate, so you may be, he was afraid that you were going to have a heart attack. Oh, and I was like, don't you think you should have told me that?
It's like, he's concerned enough to not tell me.
And I had to go to one of those things where they stick your head in and they scan your brain.
Oh, I've never...
explanation about why.
Oh, shit.
No explanation about why.
Oh, my God. That's so fucking weird.
And they did all this blood work on me. Nobody ever told me what the results of any of it were.
I mean, I guess it was all good. I guess.
I mean, it was crazy. It was like, is that normal?
It can't be. It can't be.
I mean, it's just like, it was really, really fucked up.
I mean, shit, all those times that Mom was in the hospital, she was like barely cognizant sometimes because, like an old lady gets a UTI or something and it's like their whole brain goes crazy,
Yeah.
But they were constantly talking to her and trying to get, it's like, I'm in the room, you can talk to me, I'm her advocate.
I want to Anyway, it was just, I still want to know what that stupid brain scan was for.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Even if they were looking for swelling or something,
I
you're like,
don't
what
know.
the fuck?
But anyway, I just think that's...
And it wasn't the MRI thing, it was like a CAT scan?
I guess. It was just my head was in there, that was it.
I think that's CAT scan.
Yeah.
Because an MRI is like a big, long magnetic tube.
Yeah.
So...
Was I in one of those too?
I've kind of always wanted to have an MRI because I find it fascinating.
I may have been. It's all such a blur. They did all sorts of stuff that I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
I would be so afraid if I ever had to get an MRI that would be the moment that I realize, oh, I have claustrophobia.
Oh, God.
Because I don't think I have claustrophobia, but maybe it's because I've never been in a fucking tube.
But it was, anyway, I still don't know what any of that testing was, and rude.
Rude! God, that bitch, I should write a letter.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker. Everyone loves stickers!
Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at pitneyandamelia@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. Have you heard about Podcoin? It's this cool new app available on iPhone and Android, and it actually